Hey everyone, it's me coming on. Hope my neighbors and neighborettes are doing well. So, this is going to be a message that I have given many times, but I am starting to get more aware that this is around the bend. So, there's been multiple seers. I'm putting two up here. I've commented on their posts. I've tried to also alarm them of what I've seen. I've also posted about these seers as well because I'm trying to show and bring light to the fact that this is something that others within the collective are experiencing as well. So just to give you guys a rundown, about 2 years ago, Mother God gave me a message that was about the years to come and the precursors of everything that Mother God told me about volcanoes going off, about not so much the Epstein files, but all this ring of like pedophilia was going to get exposed, etc. But then what I was shown was this really crazy and devastating crack within the, I guess, what people would call the San Andreas ley line. I've also seen it as a grid that falls along from, like, let's say Alaska, British Columbia, all the way down towards the Pacific coast of Mexico. Okay. So it wasn't a coincidence. Like, I understand algorithms, right? But at the same time, I don't subscribe to these people that I saw that came through my view on YouTube. So I know that I'm not somebody who lives in the world of coincidences. So this message is because for those days after I saw that last year's message, she had said that this crack was going to occur on the 18th of February. There has been a lot of hysteria about this date. And when it was said by her, my gut didn't really resonate with that because of the messages that I had received previous years ago regarding this crack along that fault line. So I had asked if Mother God, and if you're wondering who Mother God is, let's just say it's the feminine aspect of the all source, because there is this balance of both male and female. And I guess the closest rendition you would ever hear of her is Barbello and or Sophia. But I mean, realistically, all aspects lead up to one source. So you could call it father and mother, but I believe mother is more to do with like Gaia, the earth, and father is more to do with protection of the children, etc. So I had asked for several days after I saw her, that woman, and I already posted the pictures. And I was like, oh, like more seers are seeing this. Like, I've noticed with my own abilities, I have years of sight. So like I had said, I wasn't sure which summer it was going to be, because in my vision, I always saw that it was nice in terms of like heat, etc. But because of where it is, right, California is always hot. So it always eluded me. But I just kept watching the markers that Mother God had given me. And in many videos past, I had been talking about this. So I decided to reach out to Source again. And I said, you know, whenever the time is available that you're willing to speak with me on this, I'm ready and willing to provide the message. So on the 222 portal that just passed, February 2nd, Mother was willing to speak with me. So this is the message that I received, and I don't want this to fall on deaf ears because this is very important. There were things in this that blew my mind, because obviously I may not know of these things once I'm writing it down, right? I'm in my own trance, right? And then what happens is that when I reread it, I'm like, oh, what's this? What's that? And I'll go Google these places and things that are, you know, and just so I have some understanding, okay? So I'm just going to read out. As you guys know, I scribe. So I scribe down everything that I got. Mother of mothers, your fleets and legions await you, positioned to unfold. Not an amalgamation. 3 more sites must appear before February 18 is guided with correctness, but not the full shift. 3 things must take place. So when I got this, what I was seeing was that the 18th will be one of these 3 points. So what was being shown to me was that the way this crack occurs is going to go in 3 parts. And it's because there is a interest in not there being such a big catastrophic bloodbath, so to speak. And I don't like using those words, but when something this tremendous happens, I mean like a piece of the world is going to crack and fall into the ocean. So this is going to take place in 3 parts. And I've said in past that I also got corroborations always in 4D in dream time, where I would be in San Francisco always cleaning up like a catastrophe. Okay, so this went on for about a year after I had this sighting 2 years back. So I would be in dream time. I would see the Golden Gate Bridge broken off, like not even attached anymore. The other part of it was gone. And I was always in these parts of San Francisco Bay helping people find their way out, etc. How I end up there, I don't know. It's in a astral sense, but a 4D is a, like, let's say a, similar to this dimensional space, but I would say that that was the eluded me to know that my first corroboration with Mother God was also showing me highlights as to what was going to happen. Okay, so there were 3 things that needed to be cited in order for this, like if the 18th is 1, it's going to hit again, and then it's going to hit the last time. So for the 2 other markers, or the 2 other things that are times that this will occur, there's going to be these placement markers within the earth, and this is what I found amazing. So the garden of Gethsemane will flower again in night of cold. They will blossom to give hope to shattered hearts. This is a point of peace to soothe the hearts of those who see them. So when I thought of the Garden of Gethsemane, I thought of the Bible, obviously. That's the first time I ever heard of Gethsemane. So like I said, I always go to corroborate what I'm seeing, okay? And I will talk about these 3 points, and then I'll tell you what I found. And then undeniable fish death, sea life emerging on shores in unspeakable numbers. So the first place I got was Kuwait. That will happen there. Jericho, but not Jericho the place. Jericho Bay, which is off of BC. The Tigris River, okay, Chile, and the Bay of Fundy, which is on the east coast of Canada. Once these have happened, it won't be far away. So my initial view 2 years ago, I saw all kinds of fish deaths, mainly because a lot of the waters were turning red. Now, red is a common occurrence because of the metallurgy. Let's say with hot waters, there's like a metallic iron situation that occurs, and it happens. It is a phenomenon that does happen. However, in these last couple of years, it has been happening tremendously, which is not common. So I posted all of those, and there's going to be more fish that's like washing up on shore. But this was something that was pointed out that has been starting to happen. I've noticed that there was regions that were showing like seahorses just all washing up, seals just washing up. But these specific places are to be looked at. The next thing I got, the flowering of lilies along the west coast of Florida. This is to harmonize the sadness and release the anxietal pressures of the meek and the wounded. So these are the 3 things: the Garden of Gethsemane, the undeniable fish deaths in those regions I spoke of, and the flowering of lilies along the west coast of Florida. Now, as I said, I have a really fun time afterwards, because Gethsemane, like I said, I heard in the Bible, I wasn't sure. I look it up, it still exists. There are Franciscan monks that monitor and watch out for it's underneath the it's in Israel, okay? But what does blossom there is very interesting. It has old olive trees, but it has these Gethsemane lilies, okay? That every Passover, when Easter arrives, they blossom, like they bloom. So the message was that they will flower again in night of cold. So meaning like perhaps before they're meant to blossom, they will blossom, and we should look out for that. But what I found so amazing was that when I went to go look at the lilies of west coast of Florida, okay, it is one of the only other places in the world, okay, that grows Gethsemane lilies rampantly, okay? They grow a whole array of different lilies, but the fact that those Gethsemane lilies, the same ones that are in Israel, are only grown in the west coast of Florida, I found that really, really cool. Okay, so, when it's not that I ever doubt what I get, but these when I'm writing them down, it's like I'm just like, okay, I write it, I go with what I'm getting. But then to have those corroborations is huge. Okay, so basically in those 2 places when those lilies flower, now you have to understand is that I was asking for dates, right? And you don't truly ever get real dates. Like the woman that had gotten it got February 18th, and power to her that she got it. In my past, I've never really gotten true dates. But what I can say is that these lilies have a specific time when they blossom, which is around April. Okay. End of March to April, some in June, but very infrequently. April is the main date. So the 2 of them, and that was for both Florida and for Israel. So that was something to pay attention to. Bubbling waters are assigned in places, calm, still waters, ponds. Now, I got places, and now I don't know if this is aftermath Okay, meaning like the break happens and then these pools occur, because the three things I was shown was the Garden of Gethsemane, the fish deaths, and the lilies in the west coast of Florida. Then I got bubbling waters or a sign in places, calm, still waters, ponds. Nebraska was one of the places I got shown. Pools of water in Idaho, Nashville, and Wyoming. Now, here was something else that I noticed, okay, was like I was seeing those data centers, right? And it was specifically like the waters near those data centers start to get really hot. And if you don't know what data centers I'm saying, it's like those AI data centers. And it was like as if that inclement water will be unusable in those regions. So I think this is an aftermath message, to be honest. The 18th is a gateway. The big eruption force comes in waves to give time to the persons there to flee. No need for bloodbaths, as all have eyes and hearts to weigh. Cataclysmic falls of ornamental buildings will first to appear. No quakes needed for this, and all will become like quicksand underneath the feet. So I was being shown major city metropolises. I was guessing San Jose or San Diego. We'll have this happen first. So what I was seeing was like the sediment or the actual earth that these buildings or these metropolises are on start to dissolve. Like it was like as if like buildings just start to fall because their foundation is no longer stiff and hard. It's like as if the earth underneath them, like, or it turns into sand, and the sand gets hot and then it just starts to, so that's I don't know if that's an aftermath effect or if this happens before the fact. Rivers in Denmark will flow opposite direction, and the Danube as well. And then I got 4 to 6 months for this. And then another thing that will happen is a lot of birds. And this is why this was a little confusing, because I feel like this is going to happen soon. It's like birds will be confused as migration patterns get distorted. They will be acclimating to the shift. So it's like, you know how animals, they seem to know what's up before the fact. That's kind of similar to like all the animals that were leaving the national parks, etc. This is what I was seeing. I was seeing like birds that usually fly a certain direction, because of the shift coming, they start migrating a different way because they're like, oh, we won't be able to go that direction anymore. So let's try out this direction. And the first year or so that they try this new trajectory, there's going to be a lot of mishap in the skies with birds. And that will be another detail of the migrational patterns, will be another sign. They will be acclimating to the shift. The shift will detail 3 things: change in movement and righteous renew. So this shift, right, is going to be a renewal time, meaning like, because it's not just going to hit the West Coast and be done with it. It's going to have so many cataclysmic ricochets all around, I think, North America and South America. And governments will need to be overthrown as the tectonic shift will be felt everywhere. Dark nights and days upon much of the population. And then I was getting Mexico, Antarctica. And then, like I said, Wyoming... Wyoming came to the forefront, I think, because of maybe there are AI centers there. I got to look that up. I didn't look it up. Enacting the shift is necessary. Canada will be hit with meteor-sized impacts. This will be because of faltering climate pockets that develop over the Aurora region. So the shift impacts the auric field shield of the planet. So what I was being shown with this is like, for some reason, I'm being shown like the Earth, right? Having an auric field or an auric shield around it. I think that's the ozone layer. I could be wrong. But because of this shift, it's like there was these pockets or these openings. So all of this like space debris starts coming through those big openings and starts hitting Canada with these massive size, like, what are they called? Meteors. So there's a bunch of meteors that just started impacting on Canada. And then I got shown like let's say if this was like Canada, US, and then this is South America. I know I'm not the best drawer, but this is like where the actual fault line gets cut off, like what falls off. And then in the middle, right, the middle, smack dab in the middle, it's like another crack forms in between. So it's like as if I was seeing like crack, but like merge. So it's like as if, like, I don't know if it turns into a mountainous region or something, kind of like a line right in the middle of the US, Canada, and I would say all the way to South America, this line here, okay? Ring of fire will swell beyond measure. Drown and sink of some lands will erupt and uprise. So what I was seeing there, again, like the first vision I ever had was like certain islands like Hawaii, whatever, some can go up and some can go right down. So you'll see some islands that grow into other land masses. I was seeing this all through the Ring of Fire. Polynesia, Thailand. And but what's interesting is new archaeological finds occur because of those shifts. It's like things that were underwater come to the forefront, etc. India will be impacted with tons of quakes. And that was interesting because the first vision I ever had, I saw India, and I said this in that 2 years ago, was that India was going to see, like, they have those huge temples, and I kept seeing like those massive temples like crumbling, okay, because of erupting earthquakes. The time is nearing. Watch for signs. Cleanup will take years. Flooding will be the biggest issue on the eastern seaboard, and Middle America is safest. The world will watch, trying to assist, but many or all rivers, like river-bearing nations, will feel the repercussions. This will be a time of change. And basically, that was the end of that. So it wasn't just happening to California. It was like, and this was the same as the first sighting I had, that this was going to be catastrophic. So the last thing I got was 45 days. The countdown begins. Look for the signs. It began, it is. Amen. And that's the thing. It's like when that first seer about a month or two ago that I posted was saying the same thing as me, we have to understand we're tapping into a cosmic wisdom, okay? And Mother God is the formulative energy of our existence here on this planet, and therefore also all along and all through the universe. So multiple seers can tap into this cosmic energy. And when the first seer saw what they saw several months back, I was like, uh-oh, there's more seers seeing what I've seen years ago, or what I was shown years ago. And I have put like 4 or 5 videos since then trying to alarm people. I told friends of mine to get out of California. Luckily, a lot of them moved away, not because of but because I had really prayed to God to get those people, because I love them, out of there. If you have anybody in that region, please. And I know that as of recently, they have just had a very detrimental quake. One of the biggest they've had in history since, like, I think it was like the 1700s, okay? This is, and I know scientists are telling people that this is not what it is, but I cannot deny that more seers are seeing this. Okay, they're seeing it now. And even if the 18th is the big one, oh well, you know, like either way, if it doesn't matter if I'm right, they're right, whatever, we're all seeing the same thing. That's what matters. Okay, why would Mother God, why would the feminine essence of the Creator show us this if it wasn't something to take heed to? Okay, so I wanted to tap in because when I heard the 18th, it didn't resonate for me. Because, like I said, maybe I'm stubborn, but in my first vision, because I was brought to tears by the first vision. I was brought to tears with this one, but this one was a little more positive. And I'll say why this feels positive. Because it feels like with all of the chaos going on in the world, this catastrophic change, as there will be deaths. I'm not saying there will be not, but I think this is the beginning of the new era or the new world. Because with this major shift, a lot of things happen all around the world. We're talking energy outputs. We're talking food supply issues. We're talking just devastation in many places as a repercussion of this. And with everyone around the world trying to do what they can for what's going on, and not to mention a whole new landmass, right? And I don't think it's just going to stop there. I think other parts of the world are going to feel the swell. Like Mother God said, there was going to be a lot of flooding. Everyone's going to have like things to handle. That all this minutia of government issues, you know, like I try to sit with this, okay? Like, ever since I came back on several years ago, the only 2 things that I ever got shown or felt was right in my heart was the fact that that pedophilic ring was going to come to light and be shown and, you know, devastatingly brought to the forefront so people could shut that crap down. Not to mention the blood mongering, not to mention the organ transplanting, not to mention just the trafficking, all of it, all of that demonic crap was going to go down. Okay. And that's something that I talked about many times when I first came on this journey on this YouTube channel. Not that I haven't been on this channel for 13 years, but when I came back on 3 years ago, that's all I was getting. And also this devastation. I never ever saw anything about, you know, money or like a As a lot of people talk about like this bottoming out. Like we do understand that right now the US market is being bottomed out. China's selling their debt of America very quickly, so all those treasury bonds are being brought to zero. There go that the US dollar is going to probably be the one that is recalibrated, that USD system will be recalibrated. But I truly feel like this devastation is going to come faster. And I think it's going to stop a lot of the crap that's going on. A lot of AI, a lot of the robots, it's going to be a reset that will give us a chance at a real reset. Like resetting the monetary system is not a reset. It's just more summation of control. Okay, because any CDC or any token will be controlled. Okay, I'm not for that. Any electrical vehicle, smart car, etc., will be controlled. Any climate change bull crap that they're feeding us, all these financiers about climate change, about our footprint, is crap, because there are beautiful people around this planet who have got huge change, that can make huge changes on this planet when it comes to our environment, and they do nothing about it. When they hold summits and tear apart the Amazon to do it, that's not really showing us that there's change afoot. The UN did that, okay? And all of these financiers just rebranded, rechanged the name to climate conscious living. Meanwhile, there are people with technologies beyond that could change the world, and no one is giving funding from those financier standpoints to help those people that can change the world. So that karmic footprint crap is just another way to sell us another constriction. So I never thought that that was a viable idea, or it was never sat in my heart that that made any sense. So the reset for the money never kicked in. Did I ever think there was a world war situation? At times, perhaps, but no, not in my gut. I never thought it was going to get there, because ever since 2012, and you could see this in my videos, I knew that a change was coming. And the thing was that I didn't know what the change was. But what I can say is that the dreams I had from 2012 on were always something of a devastation, where EMF, meaning all electrical outlets, were out. And it's like as if my city was scurrying, trying to find, gas, etc. What I can say about the version that I'm speaking of, okay? Find a way to save as much food as possible. Okay, try to find a way to at least think of a water source that you can find in this time. Because I've had to think about this. I'm sitting in a home that is heated because it is minus 15 to 20 degrees. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. It's probably like minus 45, whatever Fahrenheit in I don't know. I don't understand Fahrenheit, right? But it's cold. So it's like I've been seeing how to buy not generators, but more there's these electrical boxes that can, you plug them into the electrical box and it can power certain stations in your home for like 16 hours. And they come with solar panels that can regenerate in the sun. Yes, we don't get so much sun in Canada right now because it's winter, but it's better than a kick in the teeth. You know what I'm saying? So realistically, I'm just trying to put my money and funds towards at least one of these. As for water, I have some survival books that will teach me how to turn snow into viable drinking water. And we are not without snow here. But if this were to happen in a hotter time when all the snow melts, I would have to collect rainwater. That's probably the only way, or go to our lake and collect the water there and then purify it some way. But what I'm saying is that all of those tactics and skill sets I was seeing in my dreams, and I had those dreams over and over and over again for years before I even kicked back on to my spiritual journey. So when Mother God showed me that, it resonated with me, because I always felt like that was going to be the type of thing that the world was going to see first. And as for everything else, I don't know. And I don't claim to know, but I just feel like I cannot ignore what is in front of my face. I cannot ignore that other seers are seeing this. I cannot ignore what the scientists will fail to tell you, okay? Just talk to the people in California that you know. That's the best you could do. Just, even if it's not to show them my video, I've shown you these other two women. Just look at what the science is saying. Just look at what the animals are doing right now. They're all getting out of Dodge, most of them. So all I'm trying to say is, for another time, I keep thinking it's going to be the last time, but I'm going to keep doing this until it comes, okay? Because I truly in my heart feel it's coming. So those with ears to hear, please hear me. Please talk to your family members in California. Just give them a heads up. Get some protectionary measures going, because it cannot hurt. So as I said, my biggest takeaway from this is I'm going to follow the lilies in Gethsemane and West Bank of Florida, and follow the fish issues in those regions, and hopefully I'll have an update with more. Bye for now, guys. Love you lots.